Okay, good morning. Here we are, Unit 10, Classwork 4. We're talking about pensions. So what is deferred compensation? We're going to do a lot of highlighting here because most of this section is about the reading part here. So money given or received at a later date. All right. Money given or received at a later date, usually in the return for services that have been given or received at the present time. We call that deferred compensation. And you may have heard the word pension, but a pension is a deferred compensation plan. A pension is income given to an employee after retirement at the discretion of the employer. There are private pensions and public pensions. So public pensions would be teachers unions fight for pensions for public school teachers, firefighters, police officers, so a lot of postal workers, a lot of government agencies have a pension, and then some private firms also offer pension plans. So employers are not required to fund pension plans for employees. So unless they make that agreement, they don't have to have a pension. But once they do, and for some public pension plans, it is actually written into state constitutions. So compensation from the plan is usually tax deferred from the employee, and the contributions that the employer makes for the employees are tax deductible. Here we go. Two types of pension plans. You've got a defined benefit plan and a defined contribution plan, and there's a difference. So this defined contribution plan, that's our 401ks. That's you having skin in the game. That's you putting in money for your retirement where your employer matches. But a defined benefit plan, the employer puts in the money. It's a predetermined percentage multiplier. They make all the decisions, and there's no individual account for any one specific employee, but a pooled fund upon which benefits are drawn upon retirement. In almost every defined benefit plan, the employee must participate in the plan for a certain number of years before being vested. When you get your job, you might hear about, oh, you have to be vested for a certain number of years. Used to be, a lot of companies made you work for them for about 5 years before being vested. I think Eastside Catholic is 2 years before having a right to it. There are two types of vesting. You can have cliff investing, where you're entitled to the pension after having participated in the plan for a fixed number of years, or you can have a graded vesting where you get a percentage. So when it's time to have your pension benefits paid out to you, usually upon retirement, there's some common options that are available. You can get an annuity, like a single life annuity. So that means a certain amount per month, qualified joint and survivor annuity. So you get a smaller monthly payment, but upon death, your spouse will continue to receive reduced payment. And this, the qualified joint and survivor annuity has gotten government in a lot of trouble because it's hard to fund that and in anticipation for how long people are living now. Or you can take a lump sum payment. So that's where you make all the decisions. You get the big check and then you decide what you're going to do with it. There are different formulas. You can have a flat benefit formula. You can have a career average formula. You can have a final average formula. And that's what we're going to look at math-wise, is the formulas for calculating these benefits. Pension benefits, government agencies insure most of the defined benefit pensions. Some benefits are fixed throughout life. Some have an adjusted cost of living. So you might see this later on, cost of living adjustments or COLA. Lots of acronyms in this class. Cost of living adjustments, a small increase in the retiree's benefits that's based on the consumer price index or cost of living index. So here we go with today's classwork. Example 1, Roberta worked for the Surgical Tools Corporation for 20 years. His employer offers a pension benefit package with a flat benefit formula using the flat amount of $40 for each year of service to calculate his monthly benefit pension. How much will his pension be? Well, it's going to be 20 times 40. And that's $800. And you're like, I can't retire on $800 a month. But remember, that's in addition to Social Security, any other kind of retirement account. Say he's got a pension and a 401k. Maybe he's put money away in savings. So that's just an extra bump. Remember, employers do not offer pension plans. Once they do, they have to honor them. After 1 year of retirement, Roberta's employer, from example 1, offered a 2.21% cost of living adjustment to his monthly pension benefit. That usually happens in times of good economies. The next year, the employer is offering a 2.35% cost of living adjustment. So 2.21% of $800 equals $17.68. So you add the $17.68 to the 800. Remember, you could have gone 1 plus that 0.021 times the 800. And that'll get you the 817.68. After 1 year, that cost of living increase brought Roberto up to 817.68. The next year, the employer is offering 2.35% cost of living. So we can go 2.35% of the 817.68, find that number, and then add it to the 817.68. Or again, remember, you could always go 1 plus 0.0235 times the 817.68. And after that second year, Roberta, after the cost of living, Roberta's up to 836.89 per month. Alex's employer offers an annual pension benefit calculated by multiplying 1.5% of their average salary times the number of years employed. Alex has kept a list of his annual salaries in a spreadsheet as shown. This is something that you might want to do in your future now that you know how to use Excel. So add cells to the spreadsheet to calculate Alex's annual pension benefit. So if we were going to add 2 new columns, I can add column C and I can add column D. We can set up his career average. Oh, I love it when my computer does this. Sorry. Everything keeps disappearing. Average, career, average. We're going to put, there it goes again. All right, this might be something that you're going to have to look at the key on. See if I can keep going. Anyway, what we're looking at is his career average ended up being 70,980, 986.68. And you multiply that by the 1.5% for 25 years. I realize this says 26, but if you go up, you can see that line 1 is just for titles. And that's going to give them an annual benefit of $26,620.01. So you could do things like, hey, I know that my average is going to be, and you can use the average function of B2 through B26. And so you could find that by multiplying cells. It's pretty easy. You should figure it out. It says, suppose Alex wants to determine his annual pension benefit after any cost of living adjustment. He's got cell C5 as cost of living and C6 is adjusted pension. He could enter in the percentages in D5 and write formula for D6. So blah, blah, blah. Here we go. D6 then for D6, we could say, hey, that's D4. And again, you're going to have to look at the classwork C because I don't know why it kept disappearing. 1 plus, and then you put that rate. D5, that cost of living rate, remember is the rate that we need to divide by 100. So you take your previous amount, you multiply it by your new growth rate. All right, Brian and Marina are married. Each is planning on retiring after 30 years of employment. Marina worked the entire 30 years. Marina, let's annotate, 30 years for Lincoln Corporation. For the last 3 years, she's been making $110,000 per year. Brian's been making the same salary for the last 3 years at Lincoln Central, but has only been working there for 15 years. Prior to his current job, he worked 15 years at a competitor, and he had a final average salary of $60,000. So his first 15 years, a lower average salary, which makes sense because the longer you work, the more money you make. Both employers offered a defined benefit plan that calculated their annual pension as a product of the final 3-year average. The number of years. Okay, so we're going to take. All right. The number of years of service and a 2% multiplier. So we want to compare Marina's and Brian's annual pension upon retirement. Okay, so it's the 3 years. It's our 3-year average salary times number of years times the multiplier, our percent multiplier. All right. All right, here we go. So for Marina, it is her last 3 years average, $110,000 times her 30 years times our multiplier, 0.02. That is per year, or $5,500 per month. A nice pension. Brian, his is going to be broken into two jobs, right? So his first job, that's 60,000 times 15 years times that same multiplier, 18,000. And then his second job, where he joined Marina, is the 110 times 15 times 0.02. So this accounts for his total 30 years of working, but the two different final averages for the two different companies. So that's 33,000. Or that's 4,250 per month. So what would Brian's average salary have to have been for his first job so that this total pension matches Marina's? Well, of course, it would have to be 110. 60 is lower. Ann's employer offers a pension plan that calculates the annual pension as the product of the final 3-year average salary. So in this case, it's 3-year average salary, number of years of service, 2% multiplier. Her employer uses a graded 6-year vesting formula as shown. Remember that the vesting is on the introduction. After 5 years, she's going to leave her company. So her average salary was 50,000. How much pension will she receive? So first of all, 50,000 times 5 years times her employer multiplier, not employer, is $5,000. She's not going to get all 5,000. She's going to get 8% of that. So 80% of $5,000. That's going to give her $4,000. And Ralph is leaving his company after 4 years. His salary was $38,500 per year. How much pension will Ralph receive? Well, it's that 38,500 times 4 years times our multiplier, and for 4 years it's 60%. So Ralphie here is going to get $1,800